We're live.
We're live again?
Yeah.
Oh, we're live again. Wow, great. Fantastic that the one thing we requested in this... hey, we need somewhere to stay while there's a renovation. We just need Wi-Fi. We work from home.
We requested a few things, but we
enough.
thought those few things were pretty
valid.
fucking obvious things.
Yeah, a
like
kitchen,
in our same city.
Wi-Fi.
You know.
We mentioned off the top, we do this thing where we create content and we charge you a paywall thing that actually goes into our bank accounts. Patreon.com/upNXT to support starving artists who may or may not have a home. Welcome back to the show. We're live again, which means there's people hopefully watching this.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
What were we talking about?
Well, I was talking about how we went to New York and...
You're talking about karma.
Yeah.
About how I got food poisoning after I saw my ex, and then somehow
someone's testing us,
breaking
brother.
the fourth wall and talking about that to our listeners.
Someone's testing
kills
us.
the internet.
Someone's testing us, brother. That's it. Someone's
going to get a bang on the door soon, dude.
Shut the
Can
fuck
you shut
up?
We're like, oh yeah.
We have to talk about NXT, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hopefully this internet works. Hey, maybe we won't stream again, but when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
So the good thing is this Airbnb has a nice little balcony. We get a nice view of the skyline. It'll calm us down after. All right. We'll have a couple Heinekens.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. This past weekend was a complete trip. And anyone that we crossed paths with, whether it was at the Post 5 anniversary, whether it was during the week or at Past the Lovers or at the Full Gear pay-per-view, I just want to say shout out to all you people. You all know who you are. Everyone, there's too many people to name, but I had such a fantastic time. So that was just a whole favorite thing. And Robert Pearson, Real Digital, can't say thanks enough.
Frank coming through with the hats.
Frank got us BSK hats. Man, it was a wild time. I had a lot of pizza. I didn't get any food poisoning, which I would say I had some of the best Chinese food. I never went to like Chinatown in New York, so I was like, all right. I used TikTok to find good places, and we're gonna get Poison Ron on TikTok, by the way, everybody. But yeah, I had a fantastic week, and it was so much fun to just get to hang out and talk with all the people that we are in this whole Post universe stuff. So it really meant a lot to me. So it was great.
It was awesome.
It was really great. So we'll talk about Full Gear and all the other fun stuff, because there's crazy stuff going on in wrestling right now. It seems like we got Wrestle Kingdom. Most
excited I've been about a New Japan card
for sure.
Oh, like years it feels.
Looked at flights today.
Suddenly, a few matches that have been announced. That obviously Omega Osprey is huge. Like that's the real main event there. That's going to be incredible. We know they've been building it. We've been seeing it on sort of AEW and Twitter and stuff, but that's super exciting. Kairi Tam Nakano,
she's going to be on
as
there
well. That sounds great. Zack Sabre Jr., Ren Narita sounds great.
Jay White, Okada.
Yeah,
they've had some
which will be
matches.
good. They've had good matches. It just doesn't feel fresh. But the undercard sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that show. We'll definitely talk about Full Gear and all that tomorrow night. Carry On My Wayward Son has been on repeat a lot the past few days. So what else was there? Oh man, rest in peace. Pour one out for Jason David Frank.
Yeah.
Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, the White Ranger. Really sad story. But rest in peace.
We've done a couple of...
We've done Power
Rangers reviews.
Somewhere out there.
We were like both big fans as kids, and Tommy was kind of, I watched Power Rangers before I watched wrestling, and he was like, one of my childhood wrestlers almost.
He's the hot young baby face, the biggest one. I mean, he was a huge part. I was a huge part of my childhood watching Power Rangers, and Tommy was the best. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him one time at I think it was Niagara Falls Comic Con, and he was an angel. He was a sweetheart. So very, very, very sad. I know he. When I talked to him, we talked about battling demons and living your life and all that. Fun loving stuff. So real sad to hear about that. You ever watch his fight where he won his fight in real quick? His first fight, when everyone was like, "Wow, the Power Ranger is actually going to fight." His opponent put on a Ninja Turtle onesie. to like mock him, and he ended up fucking him up in like the first round, which was just so funny. So I mean, he's done a lot, and he was supposed to fight Ethan Page in Hamilton and then backed out of it. Yeah, I remember that. That was something. He was the one who kept trying to get CM Punk's first UFC fight.
Right.
He was I could kick his ass, which I believe possibly. Yeah. But yeah, rest in peace, because we love our Power Ranger stuff over here. So that was definitely a whole sad one. We also got to pour one out for the original version of Rebel Heart. Yeah. I saw on Raw Johnny coming out to a cover.
Yeah, I mean, I love the original, but I don't know. I saw a lot of like hate online, and I'm like, it sounds fine. It's just a different voice. Yeah. Like, at least they haven't changed the song, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether
Is it Downstate?
I don't know whether it's just because, you know, they're kind of getting rid of all that old music. Like, was it CFO, I think?
Yeah.
Did that. So, whether that's the case or just to kind of freshen him up or whatever. But, yeah. Like, I like the original, but I've not listened to this one like on Spotify yet.
Yeah, it's not out yet. So
I've just heard it from that Raw clip, but I don't know. I'm not as mad as everyone says.
Yeah, like, look, I really love that version, but I guess if there's like licensing issues or something, then they had to redo it, then they have to. But it's not like it sounded completely different. No. I know it's a different band or something.
Like, I take this over his, you know, heel NXT song. Yeah, that 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I thought that was interesting. You know, we love Johnny, and then not so much loving Johnny lose to Omos. Has the Triple H honeymoon phase completely phased out? Not yet. It's War Games.
Is he
this weekend.
like, we're gonna start seeing him? Is he gonna start growing like a Vince haircut and stuff, and be like, we're like, he's transforming.
He's turning.
I don't know, like Johnny. Like,
he's turning.
The way he's been looking after Johnny.
I have some high hopes. I think I'm gonna check out War Games this weekend.
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
I'm really excited for it. Unfortunately, I'm working, so I'm not going to be able to watch it live.
Yeah.
But I think, the men's War Games especially. Like, I'm curious with the whole Sammy KO thing.
Yeah, because there's that it's kind of KO with all these like Brits.
Yeah,
it seems like. Am I wrong? Like, it's what it's.
Yeah, it's Drew, Sheamus, Fridge, and Pete.
Right, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it sounds great.
No, I think it will be really fun. I think what I like about it is it's... What I had interest, and we'll talk about Full Gear tomorrow, but what I had interest with that main event was there were so many different ways you could go with the finish, with the whole MJF teasing being babyface, and is the firm going to get involved? Is he actually a babyface? Will Regal get involved?
Right.
Like, I liked that. It gave a kind of curiosity to the match. And that's kind of where I think it is with this. I'm going to predict that Sammy and Kevin will deliberately not, like, fight. They won't pair off. And then at the end, like, Roman gives, like, Jay the nod or something, and he super kicks Sammy.
Oh.
And they start beating down on Sammy, and they kind of force Kevin to quit for his team to save Sammy.
Damn.
And that can start the split.
Heartless.
And can start the build for, like, Kevin and Sammy maybe going for the tag title.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. I don't know if it's too soon, because Sammy's, like, super hot with the bloodline, but I feel like this is the good, like, dramatic, like, playground you can do it on. That's my theory.
And then they just go, sorry, Sammy, it was just to win. You know that. And then he goes, yeah, all right. And still...
Yeah, because the bloodline will win.
Yeah.
And they can still fuck with him after.
Yeah. What about the women's War Games? Is it going to be Sasha Banks returning in Boston?
I don't think so now.
They're announcing it on Friday, which means it's going to be, what, Beth Phoenix?
I can see it being Beth.
Yeah.
I think if Sasha was returning at the pay-per-view, I think they'd keep it as a surprise for the pay-per-view. And I think this is to kind of, like, not have fans, like, be super disappointed and hijack the show or whatever. That doesn't mean Sasha can't return at another point.
Sure.
Like, both Sasha and Naomi could come out after the match or whatever. I think it, like, Sasha's been teasing stuff, so I feel like a return is imminent for them. But yeah, I think Beth actually makes more sense with the whole story with Rhea being on the team.
I just want to see Io jump off stuff.
She'll jump off.
They need more footage that's not NXT for these War Games.
Will she jump off with the trash can?
Yeah, she better. She'll even one up it for sure. You know, Io's going to be on some stuff. The card looks pretty good with those 2 War Games matches, and then AJ versus Finn Balor. Like just like they should have a good match as well. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing some of those matches, especially the 2 War Games matches. Those are always super fun. And sly way to sneak in our cheap plug, because we're going to be doing a retro War Games review on our Patreon this week. It is the 25th. Everyone's going to talk about 25 years of the Montreal screw job, so why not?
Yawn, heard that one before.
Well, no one's talking about the 25th anniversary of WCW Fall Brawl 1997 War Games.
Yes. I mean, it's not quite the anniversary. I think this took place in like June or something like that.
I think it was like 2 months ago, a month ago.
Okay, but it's 25 years. And we're talking about War Games. NWO, you know, that classic NWO team of Kevin Nash 6, Conan, and Buff Bagwell. Taking on the 4 Horsemen, you know, the classic version, the top version of the 4 Horsemen, Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, Kurt Hennig, and Mongo.
Well, not even Kurt Hennig.
Not even Kurt
just
Hennig.
Mongo.
Just Mongo.
Don't forget about Mongo.
Yeah. I've got about an hour left of the show.
Yeah.
I suggest after this, if you don't mind, I know you've already seen it, but I'd love to just watch Scott Norton versus the Giant once we finish.
You're going to make me watch that again? I've already had enough torture today with that and being put in this Airbnb. So yeah, we're going to be talking about WCW Fall Brawl 97, also featuring Guerrero versus Jericho, and a few other big names and stuff. So that's a review coming out on the Patreon, as well as another Up Yours. And you know, our World Champ patrons like to pick all things from all over the place. We recently did Ratatouille. We've recently done some other crazy movies. Well, we got our resident Calgary cowboy who's picked a Western for us to review. And I'm kind of hyped. I feel like this was a movie that was on TV a lot, but I've never seen it. And now I'm an adult, and it looks wild. And this movie is Tombstone.
Sorry, this is a movie? Because I watched the Undertaker documentary.
The 3-disc set? Yeah, we have that DVD set. Yeah. That was my favorite DVD set.
Yeah, talking about Tombstone. I'm super looking forward to this. I don't watch a whole lot of Westerns, but when I do, I tend to enjoy them. And this cast looks stacked. I
actually, side note, I have gone off on little tangents on the shows about how I love my Westerns, especially the old Clint movies, the trilogy there and stuff. But again, I'm super excited to watch this movie because it features Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Michael Biehn, don't know who that is, Bill Paxton. Man, the list just keeps going on and on. I don't know. I would say it's an odd choice, but our world champs are allowed to pick whatever they want. That's the power they have.
I always recognize this name because he does bit parts in, like, he's in 24. He's done a load of TV, but it might be the greatest name ever and should definitely be a gimmick in NXT. Powers Booth.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
Wow, Billy Bob's in this. Billy Zane, Jason Priestley. This movie looks crazy.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh, it's a wrap. The Sandman's in Tombstone. Yeah, this 1993 Western is a movie that we're going to be talking about. Thanks to
looking forward to this.
Who picked this? Brent. Yes, Brent. World Champs. If you sign up for that tier, which is a lot to ask, $25 is that tier. But you also eventually get to pick stuff and join us, as Brent will be doing this week. So that's another review out there on the Patreon. But $5 for North American tier to access these 2 shows and everything else in that back catalog. All the retro NXT reviews, movie reviews. We just did a best match ever celebrating the 70th anniversary of Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah.
That was just so much fun to look back at all those matches. So only $5 to get access to literally hundreds of podcasts that we have done. So go support us. And it will go towards our Wi-Fi bill. Not this month, but we'll make sure that we're just not homeless.
Yeah, we're nervous about our accommodation. It's our apartment's destroyed right now.
Yeah,
so
it's fun times. Yeah, it's good.
And he says 2 weeks.
And we just came back from New York, so it's not like we didn't spend USD converted Canadian dollars, which. For those of you, like $1 USD equals like $70 Canadian, literally, probably something like that. Yeah. So yeah, we're hurting. We're hurting.
But we're not begging. We're hurting.
We ain't begging. We won't beg, but we would. Patreon.com/upNXT. Go get yourself some podcasts. You fine folks. So yeah, I guess that's time where we can finally go into. We mentioned New York, and I had a bit of like a last little tangent. I had a bit of a whirlwind one day when you were hurting with food poisoning.
Oh, yeah.
I went out to a fantastic bar in Brooklyn after we went out to Comedy Cellar, which was amazing. I lost my wallet. It wasn't because I was in a drunken stupor. I was actually pretty good, but I knew as soon as I got to the next bar, I was like, oh no. And then they closed, and I thought I was never going to get my wallet back. But for about maybe 12 hours, I was walletless. Thankfully, I had my passport, but then got it back because the fine folks at La Minetta Tavern, I think it was, in Brooklyn, which was fantastic, were like, yeah, we found it. Come on back. So my heart was pounding for a few hours there in New York City, running around trying to find my wallet. And I did. And every last dollar was in it. So, there's still good people out there.
My friend just got back from Michigan to go to a college game.
Okay.
And they found this college bar after, and while they're there, they're like, wow, it's getting packed in here. I'm sure it's over capacity. A friend goes out for a smoke. As he's outside, the cops come to shut the place down.
Jeez.
And he's like, oh, I need to get in because my friend's in there and his card was behind the bar for the tab. And they're like, no, it's over capacity. No one's going back in.
Whoa.
His phone's dead, so he can't contact his friend. So he's just waiting outside until he eventually comes out.
Oh my.
But he had to leave early the next morning when the bar wasn't open. So just had to leave his card in this bar.
I don't think... if I was put in that situation, I feel like I'd get my card back. If it's my card, no, you're giving... I'm calling the police.
This is hundreds of people, though.
Yeah.
Hundreds coming out. The police... No, it was the police that wouldn't let him in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I ain't fucking with the US police.
But, I'm trying to get my card back. I don't live here. You should at least let them go in and... I remember being kicked out of a bar once, and... It was well, actually, wait, my ride's in there, my friend's in there, and they're like, no, you can't go back in. I was like, well, look, I'm gonna go back in and get him to tell him I'm leaving because he's my ride. Yeah. And they're like, no. I'm like, I don't live in this city. I'm going in, and they're like, oh, all right, we'll follow you. Yeah, because I'm gonna go in and start fights.
Why were we kicked out in the first place? I started a fight.
No. They actually. So my one buddy was really pretty drunk, and he was just having a good time. A song hits, and he was just finding his groove. My one friend, Shane, in the wheelchair, we're there with him, and he's chatting up some girls, and security grabs my drunk friend, and literally like a cartoon or a movie, drags him out of this bar. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, what did he do? This guy's just having a good time. He's not over drunk or anything. They're like, we saw this guy trying to start a fight with some guy in a wheelchair. And well, no, we're here with the guy in the wheelchair. What? It's yeah, he's our ride. And they're like, no, you're kicked out too. I'm like, well, no, you didn't hear me. He's our ride. That guy in the wheelchair drives, and you just kicked us out. He's gonna be like, where the hell are these guys? And I'm like, you're gonna leave a guy in a wheelchair in there? We didn't try to fight him. We were probably dancing with him, and you thought, these guys are trying to fight the guy in the wheelchair. And then they went they conversed with us. You know what? You're kicked out anyways. You're not allowed back in. I'm like, well, I'm going in to get him. And they're like, all right. And then I'm like, Shane, we gotta go. And he's like, not now. It's like, no, we gotta go. Why? Because I tried to fight you. What? What do you mean? I know. Let's go. Good times.
Great times.
Good times. Hey, is our Wi-Fi still working?
Have we just been talking into the void again?
The black
what show void. Are we doing right now?
Yeah. Should we talk about some NXT?
Yeah, we're gonna flip the scripts this week, aren't we? Because you're leading this one.
That's right.
Again, apartment shit.
Well, you made us some fantastic chicken curry in our makeshift Airbnb apartment, so thank you, while I took notes on NXT. So let's talk about it. NXT from Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. We start off with a recap of the stuff last week. Shout out John Cena and you holding the fort down, doing up next last week, talking about Vaughn and Braun, so I didn't have to. But can you explain like I'm 5, what the hell is the Survivor Ultimate Challenge Iron Man thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
5 people. Starts with 2 people. Every 5 minutes, someone else enters the match. There's a 25-minute clock that starts at the beginning of the first 2 people. And you get... it's Iron Man. So you get a point for every pin, submission you get. But the person who gets pinned or submitted has to go into a penalty box for 90 seconds.
Oh.
And the winner is the person with the most points at the end.
So it's kind of like the game we play in 2K, where it's like the Iron Man 15-minute, 20-minute.
Yeah, but with Elimination Chamber style entrances.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of cool, because it's normally the advantage goes to the person who enters last in those matches.
Yeah.
Whereas here, if you are one of the first 2 people, you have the opportunity to get more falls.
Okay.
And the last person only has, I guess, 10 minutes to do the rest.
Right.
So I think that's interesting. We'll see how the penalty box
works. Everything sounds fine except the TNA penalty box.
But the fact that there's a clock that kind of, I could see, you could have some fun with it where everyone's down, but the one person in the penalty box who could break the pin isn't allowed out. I think there's some fun stuff they could do with it.
Okay.
And we'll see how it plays out. I'm for different.
And then the winner that faces the champ right away.
Yeah.
Right away?
No. That will be they become number 1 contender, I believe.
Okay, so then...
Because Braun is facing Apollo.
So that is kind of official.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, got it. You did a better job explaining it, I think, than they did.
No notes as well.
Yeah. I don't mind the whole Iron Man thing, because again, we actually, whenever we do play our games,
it's a fun game
we play similar matches in our 2K. Again, just the timeout thing is like, all right, you're making it a little too silly, but okay, I'll give it a shot. Let's see, because I imagine though there's some pretty cool. I imagine we're getting a pretty stacked cast of characters, which we find out next week for that. But all right, so deadline Saturday, December 10th. I think they said that's when that is. Is that right? I don't know. So yeah, we start off NXT here tonight with Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose comes out with Gigi and JC. And Mandy grabs the microphone and says, "I am a queen." So to reference the great band Queen, another one bites the dust. She says, "I've been champ 400 days and counting, and there is no one that can stop me. Not Alba Fire, not nobody." Gigi says that she's still lusting over those NXT women tag titles and that they're going to eventually get them back because, let's face it, we are the only real team in NXT. She's not wrong. She mentions Nikita and Zoe, and we all knew they were a train wreck from the beginning. And then says, "We will get the titles back and become the golden attraction because that's where the money's at." When Katana and Kaden come out to interrupt them, and says that Gigi and JC are just props and that they are just Mandy's security, and that the only reason Mandy keeps you around is because she's got the gold. But if she loses that, then she'll get rid of you too. And this pisses off Toxic Attraction. So it starts this whole brawl, but it's 3-on-2. So Toxic puts the boots to Kaden and Katana, which we then later find out will set up a 6-person tag next week. But yeah, what did you think of this opening segment?
Yeah, I thought I actually quite liked the point Kaden and Casey made. They're trying to drive a wedge between Toxic Attraction, and it'll be interesting to see if that is something that they play with, perhaps. Like Gigi and JC may be starting to feel a little like, what are we getting out of this relationship here? So I kind of like that was brought up. Thought everyone sounded kind of good. The problem is this division is so, like the tag division, there are no teams. So it's like, okay, well, we're back to Toxic Attraction in this spot. And I kind of, like, at this point, I don't blame them for it because there's no one else. But I thought everyone sounded fine here.
Yeah, it's almost like, all right, do we just go back to putting the title? Yeah. Are we just going to continue this reign again? Because there really isn't any other teams. So it's already back to where do we go?
And that's where I think it's maybe interesting if Toxic Attraction lose to Kaden and Casey, they could be like, well, where are you Where are you for us? Where are you when we're going?
Come on, Mandy.
Role? Like we're
toxic breakup
because they've been like JC Jane got like murdered in a. She just got dragged out of her car, Grand Theft Auto style, and just killed by Alba Fire.
Mandy's like, thanks.
Mandy's like, all right, here's Isla Dawn.
You're saying we're gonna get a toxic breakup?
Maybe, or at least some dissension between them.
Yeah,
I think would be a bit more interesting because they've been doing the same thing. There's been, whereas look at like the Bloodline, how much evolution there's been with all those characters in this story. That story's been going 2 years. We were in lockdown watching Jay and Roman start that all. This feels like it's been going on as long, and there's been no evolution at all.
Yeah,
it's just the reign is long.
We had Valentina Feroz and her partner who's injured. Ulyssa, yeah, she's out. So that team instantly, and they were on fire. Yeah. They clearly were lined up for a feud and matches and stuff, but that sucks. But yeah, there's no other teams. This title is very...
Ivy and Tatum, that's kind of it. I think Ivy's more interesting solo.
Yeah, we'll see.
No offense to Tatum.
Yeah. Just still new at this, the character too. We go to Wes Lee, the North American champion, who's going to be wrestling in the main event tonight. He's in the parking lot. He should know better. How long has he been here? No. He should not be walking around in such a nice shirt, though.
I know. I'm again, like I say this every week. Retweet. I'm asking Wes where his shirt's.
You
from.
love asking wrestlers where their shirts
It's long shirt season now.
Yeah.
And they don't design long shirts like as nicely as they do like the summer ones.
Yeah, because these guys are in Florida.
But this one was great.
Yeah, it matched his title.
Yeah.
Like the maroon color.
And I do like maroon.
Burgundy, or whatever it is. Wes is in the parking lot when Tony D'Angelo shows up in his, his Escalade and says, hey, I hope you do good with that match tonight, but Carmelo Hayes is no slouch. And Wes says, yeah, well, after I win tonight, you know where to find me. And Tony says, oh, yeah, well, that I do. And then drives off. Very Soprano-esque.
I think they've done a good job keeping... Tony D sort of relevant during this injury, and I guess that's one of the advantages of shooting in Florida where everyone lives. He's rehabbing at the PC and stuff, so he can film bits, whereas it's different when you're on Raw and SmackDown. It's I'm not going to go on the road while I'm rehabbing, but I think they've done a good job keeping him like around, and it makes you think maybe he's coming back soon,
or maybe he's gearing up to hook up his boy Stacks.
You could see it as a progression, couldn't you? You could see Stacks have a shot, and then maybe Tony will be ready.
I know we're going to talk about Full Gear on BD Elite tomorrow, but I mean, we were really excited to see Jeff Jarrett wrestle live for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
But how excited were we when we walked in and we realized we were witnessing Two Dimes wrestle live on that.
Oh, that was like the first thing we saw.
We're like,
Two Dimes.
We looked at each other and we went, wow, we're watching Two Dimes live wrestle.
In a very packed Prudential Center.
Shout out Two Dimes.
Good for him.
Yeah. What stable is he in again?
The factory.
The firm?
He's in the factory. The firm hired him. The firm paid the factory.
No, then Jeff Jarrett hired him. Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Jeff's not in the firm, is he? He's
Jeff Jarrett. He's Global Force.
He's TNA. Yeah. TNA, like Global Force.
We go to Cora Jade backstage. She's gearing up for her match, which is next against Wendy, and says, Wendy, boo-hoo, I don't care about you. You're a loser. You sat alone at the lunch table when you were younger. I had talked enough. Hit my music. And she walks out as they go to commercial break. When we come back, there's a quick video for Duke Hudson. He's backstage wearing Chase University gear. It's all like red headband and stuff. And Waller walks in and sits down next to him. Grayson says... So, Duke, what's the deal with this? When's this joke going to end, mate? Like, we all know that this isn't you. This is all just a ploy. And Duke says, no, this is the real me. I bleed black and red for Chase U. And Waller says, I know you. We go way back. And sooner or later, your true colors are going to show. And, then he walks off. So he's kind of thinking what we're all thinking. Like, what's going on with this Duke?
There was a lot of Duke and Chase U on tonight's show, and I was all for it. I'm
Chase U
as like a kind of fun, like middle of the show kind of story. I've been quite enjoying it, and I think Duke's playing it pretty well. And I'm curious. It's like, is this legit?
Yeah.
And I thought they played it up nicely this week with all the heels kind of going, you're fucking around.
You're lying. Yeah.
And obviously Grace and Waller are also Australian, so these two have known each other for years. because everyone in Australia knows each other.
Yeah, and calls each other mate.
Yeah.
That is a true thing. Mm-hmm. We go to our next match. Cora Jade taking on Wendy Choo. We have Wendy being real technical in the beginning here, working the arm and twisting and countering Cora Jade. There's a running like haluva kick in the corner and then the sleepy elbow, but it's missed. There's a sweet looking like overhead Japanese arm drag on the outside from Wendy Choo. Very impressive. Back in the ring, Cora during picture-in-picture hits her with this like where she grabs the ropes, jumps up and then stomps you in the gut. That looked pretty painful. Wendy comes back with her belly to belly and then her handspring forearm and then the sleepy crossbody. I don't understand why that would be even a move. For a 2 count. There's then a brain buster from Wendy Choo, which got really got nice. Booker and Vic hype as well as me watching. But Jade kicks out of it. When Cora is just beat up, she goes to grab her bat, but then when Wendy grabs it from her, the ref goes to take it away, and when he's not looking, Cora Jade throws Wendy's orange soda into Wendy's face and then spikes her with the DDT and gets the win. So it was Wendy Choo's own orange soda, which ended up being her downfall there. So I guess you could say she got crushed.
Oh, I thought good match. Both really kind of showed up in this, I thought.
Yeah.
And I thought especially from that kind of brainbuster onwards, which looked really nice from Wendy. I thought this was pretty fun. I say the same shit every week about Wendy's gear and gimmick and stuff. But when there was no, she's still doing the hands thing, but like there was no real goofiness in this match from her, which I appreciated. And I think both are very good, and I would like to see any evolution from Wendy. But Cora I felt a bit more comfortable in this heel role this week as well, because it doesn't always, it feels like she's playing baddie a lot of the time. Yeah,
she does. I've not been too into Cora Jade. Like I think the promo stuff and everything has been working, but I think this was the first match in a long time that was like really clicking. And I think Wendy Choo is just a phenomenal talent. I know she's been in some dark matches on Main Event or Superstars and stuff. It's the characters, like there's something there that needs to like go with that. Not so much pretending to sleep when you're jumping is not really the smartest way to use this gimmick. I think there's other things. Honestly, like why don't you use the GTS?
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. It would be really funny. Or do that pose before you do like your another move that's like, or the sleeper. You know what I mean? Instead of just doing this, it looks like your tomahawk chop.
For the audio, he's doing the sleepy hand.
Yeah, it's like, that doesn't look like what you're trying to do anyways. But other than that, she keeps improving. She's just someone who's a great wrestler.
She is.
I really do love Wendy Choo. I loved her acting here. She was heartbroken.
Oh, I really felt for her at the end.
Man, I almost started crying. And her eyelashes like off her face because of the orange soda.
It seemed like genuine here. I felt really bad for her.
Oh, man, yeah.
She was looking forward to that soda.
Yeah, where does Wendy Choo... where does she go from here? So she should be put in the multi-match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, she probably will.
She would pick up that match for sure. She's a good wrestler, honestly.
That's where she gets pinned. She goes to the penalty box and has a little nap.
And misses the rest of the match. That's how the gimmick would be funny. Yeah, all right. I did get into this match, though. Pretty good. We go to Apollo Crews. A vignette here where he's going to a diner. Just wrestlers love going to diners, I guess. I noticed the name was...
looking for Draco... what was his name? Draco Anthony?
Pour one out. Yeah, the guy who drank... He was the guy who was here for a cup of coffee. Yeah, that guy. He's at the Sunrise Diner. I didn't look this up, but I'm wondering what their Google review is.
It's called Sunrise Diner?
Sunrise Diner. Look in Winter Garden, Florida for Sunrise Diner. So Apollo's writing in his journal, Dear Slim, he says, these 3 weeks are going to be the longest 3 weeks. And I'm writing down in this journal that I've been in some big moments. I've been in championship matches. I've been to WrestleMania. But this is the match that I keep waking up and thinking about. And I have a vision. And then it shows a vision of him holding the NXT championship. And he says, the ending is very clear. So he's making it known that he's going to win the NXT championship from Braun.
Yeah, I didn't mind this so much. I still think the vision stuff is goofy when they're playing it as a legit thing. When it's more like this is like a a sort of promo video, I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing, because it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when it's like he has a vision of the Creeds being beaten up or whatever, I think that's ridiculous. Here it's just like, hey, this is like my way of telling you I'm going to be NXT champion. I thought it was a bit more. It made a bit more sense of the gimmick, and I hope they move further away from it. But I thought he sounded good, and I actually kind of like this and Bronze video this week as a way to start this feud, because it is a babyface v babyface thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's a good way to get away from the like hokey pokey.
He's not magic anymore.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
just like, look, this is it's like a vision board almost.
Yeah.
You know, like where you project your goals, and it's what is it? Manifesting. That's
I will say, I could be on my own, but I feel like I don't care about this feud. I don't care about this match. I was wishing that this was a TV program so that we got a bigger opponent. I'm not interested in this match. I just see Braun retaining and then getting the winner of the bigger match that you're advertising anyways. So it's kind of odd.
I see him retaining. I think the match will be good. I thought Apollo versus JD last week was very good. So,
I don't think it'll be on that level. I don't think it'll be on the level of some of the past title defenses. But I'd still like to see a good match from the two of them. But can say I'm a little bummed that that's kind of the direction for the pay-per-view's main event. But the other two matches are definitely supportive of that show because it'll be two long matches. But I'm kind of like, okay, well, yeah.
I don't see who else you go with at this point, though.
I don't know either, but
without like shaking up the entire card, you know, like it makes most sense, I think, at this point to go with Apollo.
I just think it's kind of, I'm just bored. It's just like you did the stupid stuff, and now you've ruined it already.
I think they should have maybe gone to this match right away.
Exactly.
I think it would have been hot then, but like the Grayson Waller feud did nothing for him.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple of losses as well. So I agree with you there, but I think the actual match itself I am looking forward to. I think will be good.
Well, we go to Kiana James backstage. She's being interviewed. She mentions she has a match against Ivy Nile. She says, Ivy's tough, but I know tough women, whether it's across the ring or across the boardroom, and no one intimidates me. And then she's asked about the deal not going through with Fallon's bar. And she says, yeah, it fell through due to stupidity, and they paid for it. So get out of my face. And she's ready for her match later. But she's interrupted. Mackenzie's interrupted by Big Body Javi.
Oh, yeah.
Javier Bernal. He comes out, and he's got a Christmas list of people that he wants to fight. And it's a very long list. So Mackenzie starts to read the list. And on it first is Axiom. And he says, yeah, I just don't like him. And she's like, well, he's injured right now. And he's like, yeah, that's why I want to fight him. I want to beat him up even more.
So this is a continuation of last week where he picked Axiom, he picked Ilya Dragunov, and I think so. So basically his thing is, yeah, I'm always up for a fight.
Yeah.
He picks people ineligible.
So he also wants to fight Elon Musk. And then he also wants to fight Drake, and Mackenzie's like, oh, like Drake Maverick? And he says, no, Drake the rapper, because he says, he listened to his last album and you'll understand my problem. And then the last name on the list, she doesn't read out loud and says, you can't fight this person. He's retired. And he goes, maybe they got one more match in him, and kind of walks off. So kind of leaving it open to
Ric Flair.
Yeah, one last match. One more match. Who's coming back out of retirement? They didn't say Hall of Famer.
Oh, I don't think this was a tease.
Oh, you just think it's...
This was just a joke.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got over 1,000 people who can't actually fight him.
Right, all right.
I think he's pretty funny, this Javier Bernal. I think these segments he's had, I thought he was really entertaining last week. But I thought the star of this was Mackenzie. I'm glad they're giving her much more personality over the weeks, with the likes of, Tiffany and Grayson whenever they're going off at her, and Toxic Attraction. But the stuff with Bernal's been pretty funny as well, and I like that. I haven't caught a whole lot of like Kathy Kelly on Raw, so I don't know how she's been, but I'm getting kind of Renee vibes with Mackenzie.
Yeah,
they're
Mackenzie
actually allowing her not be a robot, and I like that.
Yeah, I like Mackenzie. I'm not too sold on Big Body Javi. He's giving me Brad Maddox vibes.
Okay.
He kind of looks like him. He talks like him. That. Trying to be funny, doing other people's shticks. I'm getting that vibe, but I kind of think it was a tease for a match. I think, he thinks. Was it Sino in one of our chats was saying he thinks it's Tyler Breeze, just because this guy wears fancy shirts and thinks he's the model, which he's not really doing that, but maybe Drake shows up to fight him.
Maverick.
Yeah. No, the other Drake. Rihanna.
Yana.
Oh, wait.
Words.
Oh, yeah. Wow. NXT Drake.
Yeah. Wow. They need a QAnon gimmick in NXT.
Yeah. We thought we were getting that with Joe Gacy, and it went somewhere else. Yeah. An incel gimmick?
Yeah. Sure.
That would be all right. We go to Chase U backstage, and there's a bunch of new students hanging around. Probably some of those new recruits that they posted last week. And Duke's being nice to these kids when they're interrupted by Pretty Deadly, who make fun of Duke, and they say, hey, you want to go play some poker? He then says, you know what? Gambling is against university policy.
They're like, wow, you didn't even flinch when we mentioned poker. Thinking he like, oh.
He then says, like, get out of here. So they start to fight Duke. It's 2-on-1, but he's beating them up. Pretty Deadly here in the back. None of the students help him. Not Thea, no one.
They're all holding Thea back. Thea's trying to, but they're like, I didn't get this. There were like 5 huge men there.
Luckily, security show up and Robbie Brookside breaks up the fight.
Fake Regal.
Fake William Regal. No, I love Robbie, but yeah, he does look like him.
It's since he cuts his hair like him now.
Yeah,
Robbie always used to have the long hair, but now he's got that like.
Has he got any nuts
Regal
on him?
Bob going on.
The Regal Bob. Yeah. Good stuff. I wonder if Robbie
Charlie Dempsey has it as well.
Yeah, his kid, right? Yeah, he's got the bob.
The Regal Bob.
You think Robbie Brookside has iguanas too?
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. We go to our next match. Ivy Nile versus Kiana James. This starts off with Ivy just basically mat wrestling Kiana here. Very impressive, showing her strength. Kiana shows some strength, though. Comes back. There's a Canadian backbreaker. And then a like pretty sweet looking single leg, like bending Ivy's leg backwards. Ivy fights back though and just starts wrenching on the arm and pulling the arm out. There's then eventually like a roundhouse kick from Ivy, a running Rana, and then a running calf kick for a near fall. Kiana then says, I've had enough of this, and tries to leave, but Fallon Henley stops her, sending her back into the ring. Ivy puts her in a dragon sleeper, and Kiana taps out, and then Fallon chases her off when Diamond might enter the ring. But what do you think of this quick little match?
I like this. I thought this was a bit more competitive than other Ivy matches. She normally just has quite easy squashes. But I thought Kiana showed a lot here as well. But I'm really impressed with Ivy. She's come a long way. I think the first few matches it was kind of just showing off her strength and stuff. But she's got some really interesting offense and definitely suits that Diamond Mine style that we see from like the Creeds and stuff. I think she could go really far and is kind of quite unique.
Yeah, just from her I mean, she's always looked amazing because she's jacked, like head to toe, muscles on muscles. But her gear looked kind of more simple and better in a way. But then I saw a lot like roundhouse kicks and Hurricane Ranas is not something she was doing a lot of, and I don't know. She looked pretty good. I thought
this is the most like impressive.
Looked. But like the Diamond Mine as a whole looked good here after the match.
The fact that they're standing on their own now without Roddy, without a Bivens or anything, I think that's kind of showing that this has worked. Like this group has been a good thing for all of them. I wouldn't sleep on Kiana either, though. I think she's been quite impressive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put her at the same level as Ivy, but I think she's definitely showing improvement as well.
No, I agree. The numbers don't lie with Kiana James. After the match, Diamond Mine and Tatum join in the ring, but no Roddy here. They mention that we fear nothing with a heartbeat, says Brutus, who's got a Brutus Ball t-shirt, which I wonder if is available yet. Then they call out Indashir and say, you guys want to attack us from behind and all that? Well, why don't you attack us from the front, motherfuckers? So they're calling out Indashir, which I imagine would be the Deadline show?
I think so. And they're playing up that Ivy is not happy. She thinks Julius and Brutus are being hotheads here because she's like, you should be going after Pretty Deadly.
Right.
They're the champions. You've dealt with Damon Kemp. Why are you focusing on Indashir? Leave him alone. They're bigger than you as well.
Right.
Again, playing up a little bit of dissension between Diamond Mine.
Even without Roddy, there's always that. Yeah. Where's Roddy? Still in the hospital?
Yeah, Damon fucks him up.
Apparently. What's going on? Where's Roddy? Roddy, where are you? We miss you, man.
Where was Jean?
Jean?
Yeah.
G? Mean G?
Yeah, where was she?
G, the secretary.
Oh, she mans the desk, doesn't she? Well, woman's the desk. We established that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, big fan of G. She's got to come back. Maybe Kiana would have won if she had G in her corner.
Maybe.
Kiana kind of messing up there. I did miss G. I did miss Roddy, though. I miss... Where's Roderick Strong? I heard Jamie Noble is going to have one last match. Like, he's like, I want to have one more match, and WWE's letting him do it.
Okay.
And then he's retiring. So, because he's, been producing and J&J and all, whatever security that was and stuff. But I read that they're giving him one match. I don't know if it's at a live show. It makes sense. I think Roddy would be his...
Roddy would be great.
I think it should be his last opponent. I think they're boys. They do their same moves.
They look the same.
Bigger question, we're going off on a thing on Jamie Noble. Is Nydia coming back for the one last time?
Oh, she has to.
They got to make this a PLE. If the Jamie Noble's last match.
We've definitely looked up Nydia before, like what's she doing now?
I don't know. I think it's next month, but maybe that would be a good way to slip in a best match ever Jamie Noble.
Yeah.
That'd be all right. If he's retiring.
I'd be down.
The best of Jamie and Nydia.
Some of those cruiserweight matches back in the day.
Yeah, they were killer, man.
See some Nydia.
Always a good time watching old Nydia. I loved his Ring of Honor stuff, his indie stuff as well. James Gibson or whatever. But yeah.
Also, Sunrise Diner, 4.4.
Hey.
Google reviews after 1,836.
Apollo knows his diners. 4.4 is a pretty good review.
A great place for breakfast.
I'm gonna write a Google review.
I was sick within a half hour of leaving. Wait, did I go to Sunrise Diner?
Yeah, is that where you went? No, you should write a review. I came here to write in my journal, and I saw a vision of me winning.
I saw Gallus. It sucked.
All right, so Diamond Mine calling out Indashir, which doesn't involve the tag titles, which I kind of agree with Ivy. Like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come back to be champions. We get a recap of Isla Dawn debuting last week here in NXT. Is that the name she's going by?
It seems that way. They haven't changed it.
Alba Fire is the woman she caused to lose the match last week. And we get a video here from her. She's like a Harley Quinn meets witch.
She's a witch, yeah.
She's a witch. She's a witch! Burn her. She says that as she's moving a Ouija board, she says that she's been listening to the voices. You can hear them. And then she's burning incense. And what is it when you burn is it sage?
Sage, yeah.
Remember when we had a party once and that one girl, she was a witch. She's like, oh, the energy, hold on, and pulled out of her pocket of her purse this big thing and then lit it up in our apartment and then was like, okay, now we can drink and smoke.
It's people like ward off the spirits and shit,
right.
Don't they?
Yeah, so this is her gimmick here. And she says, Alba Fire, we're gonna have so much fun together, as she laughs.
There's so much spooky, wacky shit in wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone, it seems to be a go-to. Okay, it'll be spooky. I think she kind of nailed the witch character down, though. In this one promo thing, I bought her way more than Alba likes fire because her ancestors like fire.
Fair enough.
I know she's been doing this kind of thing in UK.
She's been doing it for a while, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought she sounded good. I thought she wasn't speaking to Bray Wyatt hocus pocusy. She was being witchy, but I actually didn't mind this. I thought she sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
And looks right for the gimmick.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of her, even, before NXT UK and some of her indie stuff we've watched before. I've always thought the look, she always dabbled in the witch stuff, whether it's her wearing a cloak. She was in Mae Young,
wasn't she?
Yeah, she's always had some cool stuff, and I think now maybe finding a stride here will work for her, and why not pair her with someone I'm sure they've worked together quite a lot. But yeah, I liked it too. Ouija boards and witches and stuff, yeah, I know Halloween's over, but I'm kind of down. I'm always down for that. We go to Chase U. We see Professor. Is it Mr. or Professor Chase?
Professor Chase.
Because they say Mr. Chase, which is if you go to university or college, you're not supposed to. You just the cool professors when they're like, no, don't call me. Just call me by my real name.
Andre.
Yeah. Go call me by my real name. He's the cool professor. When Duke runs in and he interrupts, and Chase is furious. He says, "What are you doing here? You're interrupting my class." He's like talking about like the history of like Elimination Chamber or something. He's basically our trivia games. Yeah. Andre Chase would do good at our trivia games. Frank. Yeah. Duke says, like he's out of breath. I run here, and he's like, "Did you just run here?" And he's like, "Yes." And he's still catching his breath and says that pretty deadly. He's like Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle, like catching his breath. And he's like, "What's wrong? Who are you talking about?" And he's pretty deadly. He's like, "Who?" And he's like, "Champions, half shirts, pretty deadly." Yeah, title match. Wait, are you saying we got a title match? Yeah, when? Tonight. Okay, well, we got to get ready for this title match. Great job, Duke. And then the student that he was like talking to goes, "Hey, Mr. Chase." He goes, "Mario, what the fuck are you still doing in my office? We got a title match. Let's go." And then they run off to the arena.
I love this. I thought this was great. I think I really like Duke, he's like so playing it by the book, because he starts off by apologizing and is questioning if he's in trouble because he punched pretty deadly and like he's not supposed to punch people.
No violence.
But like then Andre doesn't care because they've got this tag title shot. I thought they both played it really well, and I thought the punchline at the end with "Mario, what the fuck are you still doing here?" was very funny. I think it's a weird role for both these guys, but I think it's the best role Duke's been in. And I think he's playing it really well right now.
It would be funny if they there's no Duke trying to leave or anything. It's just...
So I could see it going like Duke originally came in to shit Disturb.
Yeah.
And came in deliberately being a heel. He did get rid of Bodhi.
Yeah.
But in being in Chase U, they've won him over. So I think there could be the thing down the line. It's like in, those rom-coms where a guy asks a girl out as a dare and he doesn't really like her, but then falls in love, but then at the end of Act 2 she finds out it was a dare, and she like, "No, go away, leave me alone," and then he wins her back at the end. That's what I think
Is that a Freddie Prinze Jr. movie?
It's every movie.
Yeah.
I can see them kind of doing this with this. Like, he deliberately came in to be a shit. He fell in love with the university. He's learning stuff.
He's learning.
He likes being a better guy.
Right.
He kind of has a thing for Thea, and then they're like, "No, we don't want you," and then eventually he comes back.
And then Bodhi comes back.
I'm so into this story.
We need Bodhi back. This is your favorite?
It is. They've done great.
This is the NXT equivalent of Sammy in the Bloodline.
Yeah, this is brilliant. It is. It's got my attention.
I'm just happy Duke's getting his flowers.
I was like, strap him. Give him the titles.
They should have tonight,
right now.
Well, that match is later, but are you ready?
Oh, boy.
It's time for the debut of scripts. That's right. We're time to flip the script, literally. So, this guy has been doing vignettes for where he's spray painting the PC. He's leaving voicemails and weird notes and stuff. Kind of like a high school like hacker or something. Yeah. I don't know. Who leaves voicemails?
Well, forget all about it, because it has nothing to do with what then comes out.
Nothing. So out comes a guy in a mask, and his entrance is he does a bunch of flips. His first flip, he does not land on his feet properly, and then like finds his footing. There's clearly a trampoline outside of the ring on one end that bounces him into the ring as he does more flips. And I mean, I've watched some wrestling in the past year or two, and wouldn't you be darned, that guy under this mask, which looks like Jeff Hardy's Will-O-the-Wisp mask, looks an awful lot like Reggie. Oh, and he does flips too. Huh.
Yeah. Look, I think the idea of Reggie coming to NXT is great. I think he did kind of whiff the first one, but he does some spectacular stuff. Like, he's Cirque du Soleil. Some of the better things in the 24/7 division was him running and flipping and jumping away from things. So going to NXT to kind of maybe learn how to wrestle and put it together, great idea, all for it. The 24/7 division's dead. Go back to school, go to NXT. But to start with, this, whatever he came out and did today had nothing to do with all these hacker performance center things that's been going on.
Yeah.
And this outfit, like, I never want to hear you complain about Axiom's gear again, because I'm
gonna leave him alone now.
I've got to send this picture to WH. This looked like absolute shit.
I did art class in like grade 8, and it was like masks. You can make any sort of mask. Yeah. So I fought the teacher lucha masks are a mask, and she's like, absolutely, please, like, make one and improve me, like, make a sweet one. So I did. I made a sweet looking lucha mask. I wish I probably still have it somewhere. It looked like this. It looked like someone in 8th grade made it.
And then, I'm just looking at the picture. Like,
it doesn't look good, man. It looks like a mop head.
The mask is terrible, and because he's got like the dreads coming out as well, the dreads look like a weird part of the mask as well.
But the front of the mask has like dangly things on it.
The mask
That's like
isn't covering much of his face. It looks like it should be like tied at the bottom. He's wearing this Spirit Halloween black and orange jumpsuit, and then like we've seen tassels in wrestling, like
sure, love them.
Yeah, Warrior, and you like think the Young Bucks with their tassels, Tyler Breeze, you mentioned him earlier, but these are like, oh, you didn't get the tassels in? Cool, alright, just give me a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut the bottom of my pants to kind of look like tassels, and then put them over my wrestling boots. This is one of the
worst gear ever.
The worst gear, lately. The worst reveals.
Okay, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even trying to sound like a prick, but when he came out, he then like walked on the guardrail, like sort of walked on it without falling over, like around the crowd, and was like smiling. I was like, okay, this hacker guy is like one step ahead of us. I'm thinking Riddler and the Batman, like, well, I'm not even there. It's someone else.
Yeah.
I thought for a second, oh, we're not actually getting this guy. This is just someone he's sent
decoy.
Out. He's the decoy, and the real one's about to show up.
For sure.
And then,
which would have been great.
And then the match started, and here's Guru Raj in the ring. Shout out Guru Raj. And I'm like, oh no, this is actually the Scripps guy. So then the match starts, and he does a bunch of flips to counter Guru here. And then it's like this move where he finally gets Guru down. He goes up to the top, and then his pose is like he's writing with a pen.
He writes the S.
Yeah. So
he does this like 20 times in the match. He's writing the S.
He's just writing like a poet, right? And then does a Molly go round off the top to get the win here in a really short match. And then leaves like a note on top of the guy. So look, Axiom was a mathlete luchador, and now we have this flippy aerobatic poet. I don't know.
I've no idea.
What
I've
the
no
hell
idea.
is this?
The costume just doesn't.
What?
Like the. Okay. So his like performance center things were poems, but I think the whole presentation of that, if you're introducing this character, wouldn't it have been more sense if people were finding poems like written with a quill, like an old scroll,
a quill? He needs to come out with
you know what I mean, like the calligraphy, like the fancy writing. People like each week, like a different character finds one of these things and they read it out in scripts. Whose scripts? Rather than they're making it feel like
it is the Riddler
performance center like things, makes it things like it's like some digital hacker or something like that. But I don't know what this costume has to do with either.
Yeah, I'm so confused. And then
he's leaving these like this poem or this card at the end.
What do you think it says?
I don't care.
Roses are red.
Well, it was just his name. I don't know if there was a note in it or anything.
He should leave people poems.
One week he was doing, like, I'm looking at pictures here. One week he was doing graffiti on walls and things. Like, it just nothing comes together. Like, his entrance music didn't match anything.
It was like Guitar Riff 3. Yeah.
His I think, as I said, I think some of the stuff he can do is pretty spectacular. But like, this is DOA, and. Yeah.
It's hilarious. I was loving it. I was dying laughing.
I'm just looking at these.
Yeah, I agree, man. Look, and this guy Reggie with the Cirque du Soleil background, like incredible, like flips and all these crazy things that can get a lot of attention and can get people into it and stuff. But the way he's dressed with this mask and this outfit looks so like hokey. It looks so dollar store. And now you're telling us he's like a poet and he writes, and the way he writes is like he's got a quill pen. It's like, no, you were leaving voicemails.
Like, how cool would it be with this guy if like you've done the hacker stuff. You've had him doing graffiti. Have like the security show up, and then have him fucking run and flip away and stuff like that. And you go like, oh,
who is this guy?
Is that? Is that Reggie?
Yeah, is this guy supposed to be like Flippy Banksy or something?
More like maybe like a sort of.
What is this?
Cat burglar kind of gimmick.
Sure. But then you look like this. It's so stupid.
This I just don't. I have no idea what this is going to be. And to also debut as what seems like a mystery for all this time, just to be like, oh, it's his wrestling debut. And you're like, oh, you're expecting some kind of big reveal. Yeah. Very odd.
Very funny. Odd. Very ridiculous. I hope
whoever came up with this should feel bad.
I feel like Shawn Michaels just watched the Batman with the Riddler and went, okay, we'll do something like that, and then changed it to like a poet, and I don't know what is going on.
Please say that there was another costume and then it got lost in the mail or something, and
someone had to make this.
Sorry, we'll do this. We'll re-debut you in 2 weeks. I didn't get it.
Yeah, like I always said, Axiom's outfit's fantastic, and his mask is great. Comparing it to this, really hilarious. I can't wait till they have replicas of this one. We need it for the set.
This mask, yeah, sure. I can make it after this show.
Yeah, with like cut out, what is it, cardboard paper, black construction paper,
tissue paper, and all that.
Remember the scissors with the waves in it? Yeah. That's what he used for his pants. This was funny.
Is this like Chase You Kindergarten? Like,
I don't know what this was, man. Ridiculous scripts. So they literally flipped the scripts. With Reggie. Yeah, I mean the 24/7 division's gone, so what's the guy to do? Yeah. Flip around and write poems. I think it would be better in that direction if he like left people, like if he imagine it's like a beat poet gimmick. Yeah. That would be better than this.
So many other
woman. I don't know, it'd be great.
Very confused.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, we go from the aerobatic poet the acrobatic poet to the schism tree. So the schism come out and they
breath of fresh air.
Yeah, great stuff. The schism have a table set up in the ring, and there's 5 chairs, meaning there's a missing chair, which got me thinking, whoa, are they adding another person? That wouldn't be the case. Well, they have an empty chair. Joe Gacy says autumn is when the trees shed their leaves, and the schism tree is no different. So for this holiday season, it's time we reflect what togetherness has brought to our lives, and it's time to give thanks. Ava Raine takes off her mask and says, blood relatives cannot guarantee a united family. Ooh, she taking shots at The Rock there? Zach Gibson and Drake, Rip Taylor, what's these guys? Fowler and
Jagger Reed is James Drake, Rip Fowler is Zach.
They say Thanksgiving is just for gluttony, and as they're talking, Ava Raine walks around the crowd and then picks out someone in the crowd and says, you. And the guy says, yeah, sure. So he comes and joins them. Gacy says there's new traditions as the crowd chants sacrifice. Boy, were they right. He then says, your inclusion will be the centerpiece of our dinner table, and the schism invictus shall commence. The schism Invictus. I know World Cup season's coming around. Maybe he just watched Invictus and went, that's a cool word.
Yeah, I mean, that's rugby. But,
same thing. It's fine. He says that it's time for new traditions and mentions the strength and togetherness, and then 4 roots, 1 tree. Ava Raine then hugs this guy, but as they're hugging, her face starts to change. It's the Michael Jackson end of Thriller video when he looks back, and then she grabs him tight. When she lets go, he looks a little confused. He turns around and gets a rock bottom from Joe Gacy through the table, and then the crowd chants, sacrifice, sacrifice. And then he says, the day of Invictus has commenced.
Yeah. He took a good bump.
Good rock bottom through the table.
Okay. Obviously they're going to use a plant for this spot. My only thing is, no one owns a Vengeance Day t-shirt.
The guy was wearing a Vengeance Day t-shirt.
And anyone who bought it when they went to the show, they ain't wearing that to go and see another NXT
At us. Do you own an NXT Vengeance Day? The only reason you own it is because you were there.
Because you were there, yeah. And I don't think you'd be wearing this. So
I'm expecting someone
attention to detail, guys.
Yeah.
This. What was the thing they said? They
Invictus.
were like. They said we are no longer inclusive. We are. Was it destructive or something? They basically said like, we've been talking bullshit.
We're not woke anymore.
We're not. This is the four. It's us against the world, and we're going to pass judgment on you all.
Damn. So they're no longer woke.
What I got is they've like pulled the veil back now. Wow. They're like, yeah, we don't care about recruiting people. Like, we're here to fuck everyone up.
They've just revealed that this whole time, his whole spiel of letting everyone in, it's all lies. This whole progressive world he was pushing on everyone.
Better. Like, this group already looks so much better.
They look, with their gear.
Yeah. I didn't think this was a home run of us. No. But I much prefer them just being like, hey, we're bad guys and we're gonna fuck everyone up, which is what I took from this.
Yeah.
It was still hokey and shit, but
it's Ava's flock.
Yeah. I think it's definitely Ava. I think she sounds good as well when she talks, and I think
me too.
Putting more attention on her is a good move.
And the Rock Bottom, nice little touch there. Yeah. But she's throwing shade at Papa Rock.
Yeah.
Saying the blood ties aren't united just because we're family.
Yeah.
What do you think? She saw Black Adam. She was not a fan, and she says, "Get out! I'm with these guys."
I think so.
Yeah.
She hated that movie so much. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Want to watch it later?
Yeah, right. If our internet works.
We go to Trick backstage. Trick's being interviewed and says Carmelo's supposed to be here, but he's getting ready for his title match later tonight, and says that Wesley's Cinderella story ends tonight when Wes walks in and says, "Oh, settle down, Trick. I'm not here to fight, but you're saying that Trick is the best." He goes, "Trick is the best. He says Carmelo is money, and he doesn't need me to beat you." He goes, "Oh, so he doesn't need you, so that means you won't be there." And he goes, No, I'll be there." And he says, "No, you won't. You just said he doesn't need you, so I will not be seeing you out there." So basically tricked Trick into not going out there for Melo's match later tonight. And he goes, "You tricked me," and walks off.
Trick or tricked.
We get a vignette, are you ready, for NXT champion Braun Breaker, and he's Braun gone fishing.
Fucking loves fishing.
Braun Breaker revealing here that on his days off, it's a vignette, he just loves to go fishing. He says, "I'm just a regular guy. I'm a fisherman." He says, "When I won the NXT title, I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like Superman. And as time goes on, more weight and more pressure keeps being applied to my life. And that's why I come out here." And it shows him out in the daytime, out in a lake with his little boat, with his fishing rod. And he's fishing. He's just out there, man, fishing. And he says that, as it gets colder, the winter comes, it gets a little harder. So I change up my bait. I change up the ways to catch these fish. And it shows him catching them. And what a nice guy, Braun. He catch and release, puts them back in. He says,
just bitten the head off.
Yeah, I was kind of down. Yeah, back in the day, wrestlers probably would have done that. He then says, people say that I'm slowing down or I'm not as active. Well, that's not true, because another challenge ends and another begins right away. So if you're ever looking for me after I win the title match in a few weeks, you'll find me out here. So Braun out fishing. I mean, I know a lot of people love world famous professional wrestler Kazuchika Okada, and he is a well-known fisherman. He loves to fish on his days off. Maybe
I
something about it.
You do see with actual athletes when they're being interviewed, they're like, how do you like zen out, kind of, you know, like when you compete at this high level, and you often see videos like this where it's like, I just go to my quiet place,
go fishing.
So I kind of liked it. It kind of felt very like just real. It's a bit jarring because you've got all the silliness on the rest of the show, and then you're just watching a vignette of a guy saying, "Hey, I just go
like
fishing. I like fishing sometimes." He's not pitching a "I'm a fisherman" gimmick. He's not coming back like that guy from The Simpsons, it's not he's starting anything like that. But I got a real kind of like sports vibe from this.
Yeah, something I got from this was showing that he's like a more of a real person kind of thing. Like,
I think they present the way he comes out and he's just like in his blue jeans and like he's the everyman kind of thing.
Hey man, I dig it. I dig it for sure. I mean, it's funny because he's out there fishing and it's like, oh look, it's just our champion fishing, but I mean, it is something people do.
I thought at one point he was going into a metaphor because he was talking about like in the winter changing his bait and stuff like that, and I thought he was like saying, because when I get a new opponent, I've got to think of the different ways I can catch them or whatever. But nah, he's just like and then
the catch. His fish was a little fit down there in Florida.
It's not the size, it's the way you use it.
Yeah. I'm sure Braun's caught bigger fish, but it's all right. Good for Braun. I like this. It made me want to go fishing. Have you ever been fishing?
I've gone crabbing.
Is that what you mean by food poisoning last week?
Have you been crabbing?
No. It's not that I know of.
You get like a little, like it's your own like little fishing rod and you catch crabs.
Okay.
It's like a lot of like holiday resorts in the UK.
Go
like
crabbing.
Beach towns, you go crabbing.
We're going crabbing.
And then you're like, oh, like I went as a kid. So you eventually catch a crab and you're like, fuck, I've got a crab. What do I do? And you just throw it back.
Oh, so you don't like keep them or?
No, what do I do with the crab?
Cook them.
I'm just on a holiday.
I don't want to eat this. I don't want to murder these crabs. Fishing is very relaxing.
Yeah, I would like to go fishing sometime.
It can be. There's something.
I'll get Bron to take me.
Yeah, there's something about going out.
Sunrise Diner and then with Apollo and then we'll
down
go
in
crabbing.
Florida. Yeah, it's nice when you're just out there, burning one. You're just you and the fish. It's a good time. I respect Braun for letting us into his world of fishing because I'm sure it's his thing. But you just promoted a world title match between a guy who writes in his journal at a diner and a guy who fishes. I don't give a fuck about this title match at all. Sorry. Love you, Braun, but wow. Great storyline for this too.
They need to build some heat.
What the fuck?
They need to beat some heat for this.
Let's bring it out of the hey, you know what? He's fishing. Nice guy. This is the match you're promoting? A guy who goes to the diner, a guy who fishes. All right. This is what you do on your days off. Why don't we?
This almost seems like part of something you'd have in a Prime Target.
Yeah.
Like a longer, 20-minute doc to build up the match.
Yeah.
I agree. There isn't heat at all
for
this. They need to start, do the old tag team partners that don't get along. One accidentally beats knocks the other one.
Braun brings a fish to the diner, gets them to cook it for Apollo. Here you go.
Just leaves a rotten fish in his locker just to fuck with him.
That's what Apollo should do to Braun. Yeah. Should bring in a fish and be like, here you go.
Both bring fish.
My fish is bigger. Something like that. Well, the fish sure won't... Imagine Braun was out there fishing and then all of a sudden there's just all these waves because Sol Ruka's got to come in here and surf. Because it cuts to her entrance and her video now. The screen is all waves and stuff. Pretty cool. Righteous, dude. The waves come crashing and it hurts inside. Sol Ruka is here and she says that she heard what Zoe said, but the locker room doesn't need your negative energy. Surfer gimmick.
I hate this already.
Yeah, I love it. So Zoe Stark versus Sol Ruka.
This girl burns sage. As she enters the room, doesn't she?
I don't know. She looks like she's like in crazy shape and just works out all the time and handstands everywhere.
No, but the whole negative energy thing.
I don't know if she's burning sage, but she'll definitely read her different horoscopes every day for sure. Zoe Stark, Sol Ruka 1-on-1. Zoe is mean Zoe now, so she goes after Sol here, who escapes a headlock by a hand standing out of it. Very impressive. There's more handsprings and a double jump to land on her feet. Very cool. Zoe starts faking an injury and then goats in Sol to then super kick her in the face. She's beating down on her. She then has her ringside and then pulls the ring skirt over her. Very Fit Finlay-esque here. Just starts beating the hell out of her. She puts her in the ring, but Sol comes back with some flipping counters and some kicks and then climbs up top, goes for a missile dropkick, but gets dropped. And then there's the huge knee by Zoe, and she puts her to sleep here, and Zoe wins the match. After the match, she tries to attack her, but Nikita shows up and scares Zoe off. So this feud will continue between the two of them, but a pretty short match.
I kind of get sort of Casey Catanzaro vibes from Sol Ruka, when she started, where she can do some really unique things that we don't really see people do, but the actual fundamentals aren't really there yet. So it's kind of cool for now. You see her do some flashy stuff.
Yeah.
But like, she also needs to kind of learn how to wrestle.
Sure.
She's new, but that's good. Kind of what I'm getting. Casey figured it out. Like, I think she's great now. I hope Sol Ruka can. Like, she's new. There's definitely potential there, and definitely in this women's division offers something a little different. But yeah, like, definitely needs to work on the basics.
Just doing handstands will get you, like, be your spots and stuff. But yeah,
she's got a Rumble save spot, like, ready, hasn't she? You know,
for sure. Yeah, if you follow her on her socials, like, she seems like she lives this, like, you know, surfer kind of vibe gimmick in real life. It looks like that. So I'm like, all right, if you could get the wrestling down, even her short little promo, she sounded really good actually. So I like that she's tying in the like a surfer thing is an easy way to start. That can easily evolve into kind of like, I'm not saying, you know, stoner gimmick like
She'll become Matt Riddle.
Riddle, but you know, I'm kind of thinking that equivalent. But yeah, Nikita wearing some new gear here, which I imagine that is
first time we've seen her in her heel persona.
Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe.
Yeah, well, Nikita
had changed as
Nikita
well.
had different gear, and I feel like that's a match that's happening at Deadline as well. The singles
that
match.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We go to Idris and Malik backstage. They're in the parking lot, and they're talking to Von Wagner. And they're trying to get Vaughn to go out with them. They're like, yo, Vaughn, we know you're going to get back on top.
We lose a lot, and then we party.
Yeah, hey, look, you're looking sharp. And sorry, Vaughn says, hey, you know, you guys are looking sharp. You guys got some swag. I could use a night out being mediocre for once. And they go, whoa. Idris tries to fight him and says, you're disrespecting us. He says, you guys don't know about success. And then sucker punches Malik, sucker punches Idris. Starts to beat both of them up when Odyssey Jones kind of comes in for the save as Vaughn runs off. But Vaughn ripped and took Malik's sweater vest.
Oh, man.
So I think we're getting Odyssey v. Vaughn very soon.
Okay.
But yeah, the
kind
parking lot.
Vaughn's rehab feud, I guess, after losing the title match.
Idris and Malik, though, like, you have a whole roster of people you thought
Vaughn?
You chose Vaughn to go out with.
Maybe they're just those guys, though, right? Like, let's give him a chance. Let's try and turn him around a bit.
Yeah.
Old Vonnie boy.
Come Tuesday.
Joe Blow.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We go to a video vignette for, is it Charlie Dempsey?
Yes.
Little Regal Jr. It's all of him, like, doing different workouts. He says today wrestlers are just concerned about all these different workout techniques and stuff. All I need is a deck of cards. And I watch and study superstars like Gotch and Billy Robinson, and they didn't have all these things. They just had their bodies, and they trained. And I train like they used to train. I'm not waking up choosing my outfits or getting the Instagram poses down. I don't work on my beach muscles. I get real muscles because people need to remember that professional wrestling is a serious business. But also naming like Carmelo, was it Braun? There's Wes, a few names basically being like you're fake, you know, tough guys. So kind of calling out everyone. I like it.
It's a real, like, he's doing the Timothy Thatcher gimmick, but I think this is the right gimmick for him.
For sure.
It suits him. Like, looking at him, like, hearing him talk, I like it. Just this, like, I'm fed up of all this other
bullshit,
fake shit.
Yeah,
like, all this superficial stuff.
I mean, he's watching
At the
this.
end of the day, I'm wrestling and I'll stretch you and beat you up.
He's been watching the show. I mean, there's a university, there's a superhero, there's now a poem guy. I don't know, a poet. I don't know. It's just, and
due to like submissions errors, like, he can't get into BCC, so he's here.
I don't know if anyone's getting into BCC anymore. Yeah, true. Well, we then go to our next match, which is Chase U, Duke and Andre Chase going up against Pretty Deadly, and the titles are on the line. Booker T was going off here. He was talking about how he loves Pretty Deadly. He was talking about how you may know about Kung Fu, but it doesn't mean you know shampoo. Then he started referencing his famous shampoo storyline with Edge.
Yeah, which always makes me think, why would Edge and Booker T be advertising the same shampoo? I'm sure they'd be using different shampoos, no?
Still shampoo. I mean, it's shampoo, but like, I just always think that's one of the weirdest storylines to set up a match. It's like you might as well spill a cup of coffee on someone and set up a main.
Their tea.
Something like that, right? Yeah. Well, Booker T loves Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, he went on this for a long time.
Yeah. We get Andre Chase in here with Prince. And man, Andre Chase, every time we see him wrestle, he's still not wearing wrestling gear, but he can wrestle. There's Matt wrestling here. He's going on and on. Pretty Deadly start to tag in and out and work on him. They do this like mini event Omega, which is the splash leg drop combo for a 2 count. But then Andre starts out wrestling both of these guys. There's like different counters to get in different pinning predicaments. There's a huge Chase U chant as they go to break. Eventually, Thea gets like knocked down on the outside, which the crowd are pissed, and Duke is pissed. He comes running. Duke finally gets in a hot tag. He clears the ring. He's busting both these guys' heads in. Eventually tags Andre back in. But then there's a miscommunication when Duke nails Chase in the face with a big boot. They then grab him and throw him out, and they hit spilt milk on Andre and get the 1-2-3 to retain the tag titles. But part of me was just like, man, how funny would it be if we got a nice little run by Duke Hudson and Andre Chase? I was bummed out. They got me, man.
I think it's something you could do with more build. Like,
yeah.
Again, I think Andre Chase is a pretty good wrestler, and he always actually impresses in ring. Duke, I enjoyed the story thing in this match because you question why did Duke tag Andre Chase back in, because he was so beaten up.
Yeah.
But it also looked like Duke was trying to like do a double team.
I think so. Yeah.
But in story it goes, did he do that deliberately? Did he do it because he knew he was beaten up? So they're still kind of playing with that thing. So I thought that was done quite well. But I actually think they're better wrestlers than Pretty Deadly. So I'd actually be for a tag title run.
Yeah. Look, we love Pretty Deadly, but their wrestling still just does not hit. It's always the person they're with. And I get it. They're heels, classic heel stuff. But I can't name any other moves that they do other than that heart attack move they hit. So
it's just not interesting. Is it?
Yeah, and I guess it's effective heel work because I think they're hilarious. I love the look. I love everything. Yes, boy for life. But the wrestling still isn't quite... I'm not usually excited about their matches. But for me, in this match, the story of Andre was really fun and interesting. And he is a good wrestler. He can mat wrestle for sure. So yeah, they retain. Where do you see the Deadline tag title picture? Because you had Diamond Mine, Ivy kind of being mad they're not going... You could have a multi...
I mean, we assume there's only going to be 5... matches.
Oh yeah,
they do 6 tops, don't they? So you've already got 3 confirmed, right? The title match and the 2 Iron Survivors.
Yeah,
which they're both going to be 25. So the tag titles might not be on the line.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Well, we go to a TikTok of Roxanne Perez and Nikita, and they're all happy at a live show last weekend when there's a brawl with Indy Hartwell and people yelling, and then Elektra Lopez. There's drama, which all sets up this match.
So it was...
Indy and Roxanne?
Yeah, no, it wasn't... Yeah, the brawl did come out. But it was... Indy was pissed because Roxanne said she's her friend and didn't watch her match.
Right.
She was like, you're out here playing on TikTok when I've got a match and you said you're my friend. I actually quite liked how they did this across the 2 TikToks.
Right.
And then... Like, people do that, like, they'll go, oh, look at this fight's kicking off here. They'll film it. So, cutting to Elektra, I thought it was an interesting, different way of... I preferred this to, like, the Toxic Attraction weird group chat thing they had.
With the cameramen.
With the graphics changing and all that. This felt more like a better way of doing it.
I agree. I just found it fun. I find it kayfabe-wise here, of course. Strictly heels that are always out of their minds. Roxanne tried to be her friend last week. And then now this week she's like, why didn't you watch my match?
Yeah.
It's like, because you told me to fuck off. That's why. So Indy's the delusional heel now. And I guess...
And I think doing more things at these live shows is quite fun.
Yeah.
Because didn't it start with them going, oh yeah, like we're just cutting a TikTok because we just won our 6-woman tag kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
I'm okay with that. We get what do we have here? We have Nikita backstage with Kaden and Katana, and she says, I'm gonna help you with Toxic Attraction next week. So 6-woman tag, Toxic Attraction versus Nikita, Kaden, and...
They kind of buried the hatchet after their tag feud.
Yeah, true. Then we go to our main event, the North American title on the line. The champion, Wesley, defending against Carmelo Hayes. Usually Carmelo comes out last with a pretty cool champion entrance, but wasn't the case. But he did have a Him shirt. Is this like the band Him? I don't think that's what he was going for, but because he always says, I am him.
I am.
Yeah.
And long tights this time.
Long boys. Short, yeah, Carmelo's wearing long boys. Wes comes out. He gets the championship entrance. There's like a phoenix graphic and then like a stone on the ground that he's like standing on. And it's basically the phoenix rising from the ashes. His gear was pretty cool as well. Definite kind of big fight feel for this title match here. I was looking forward to these two tangling up again. And I was pretty impressed. There's a series right away of they're just going back and forth, one-upping each other with roll-ups. There's a double pump kick early on. They go to picture-in-picture where Melo hits the fadeaway and then starts to work the shoulder. Melo is money, so Melo uses the money clip here, which I like the little things. Eventually gets Wes back up and hit. Melo does that crazy springboard flying clothesline, but this one
was special. It almost looked like a reverse neck breaker or
sling blade
or something. Like the distance he got from this springboard looked awesome.
He does this move great. I always remember Mark Jindrak always had a good flying clothesline, but man, Melo's is even better than that. Looked great. He does the ball-in pose as he's getting the crowd, trying to get the crowd behind him, but of course he's the bad guy, so the crowd is booing. So when he does the ball-in thing and like pretends that it goes in, the crowd goes air ball. They start chanting air ball, which I thought was funny. Wes comes back. There's a German, and then there's a strike fest. There's a running uppercut, a Rana spike, which was awesome for a near fall. Oh, yeah. A 450 miss into an inside cradle. Melo hits his satellite facebuster, just busting his face.
He's got the best one because he really slams them.
Wes comes back with a Meteora. We have then Trick running out, who said he wasn't, but he's there. Wes then takes him out with a Tope con Hilo. Back in the ring, hits a backwards handspring Pele kick. And then a Fisherman Buster Falcon Arrow. 1, 2, 3. Wesley retains the NXT North American Championship in a what I would call takeover level worthy match. Yeah, this was awesome.
I will say, I think NXT has, over the last month or so, found its form of putting on at least one very strong match a week. We've had the JD McDonough's had a great series. He had the Ilya match, the Axiom match, the Apollo Crews match. And now we've got this between these two. I thought this kind of felt to me like old NXT where you'd get these high quality TV matches. This was excellent.
Yeah.
I knew these two, we've seen what they can do. They're both spectacular, and just to have them two go at it. I thought it was great giving Wes that real definitive win as well. This wasn't Melo kind of slipping on a banana peel. This was like an emphatic win from Wes, which is good, solidifies his reign. Interesting. I assume Melo's gonna now be in this Iron Survivor. He can move on. I'd have him win the thing.
I would have him win it.
But I thought, go out of your way and watch this one.
Absolutely.
Cherry picker, because this was really, really strong stuff. I didn't feel shortchanged either. They worked at such a pace where they had probably 12 minutes, something like that. But I didn't feel shortchanged from it. I thought this was brilliant.
Yeah, these two killed it, man. Wes just going on the whole Phoenix rising from the ashes. They don't tell us, hey, he lost his partner, but they tell us, hey, he lost his partner, and he's not here anymore, and he's been put into this singles thing, and it is totally working. From the beginning, it was such a rocky thing with the whole, I'm sad, but I'm not explaining why, and all this stuff, and just now being thrown in as the singles competitor, totally, killing it here.
Yeah.
And Melo is money, man. I've talked about it so many times, but he should be the next NXT champion, and if that's not even the case, then just put him on the main roster with him and Trick. I think he...
I do really... I do want to see that Braun match before they move him up, because for me they really seem like the two
big stars from the 2.0
I know
era.
Melo was there just before 2.0, but they feel like the two 1A 1B
for sure
in this company. I
the
think
A champion. Wes brought it, Melo brought it, no surprise. Would highly recommend checking this out if you haven't, but yeah, this was awesome. Again, I love when I know NXT has had its changes. I know a lot of people don't watch it anymore, but it still has consistently put on at least one match that I went, wow, that was worth watching the show tonight. And I would say that these guys definitely did that. And one day, somehow, some way, they will fight again, and it'll be even better and crazier because these two meshed really well together. Fantastic stuff. But after the match, Wesley is celebrating, and his graphics are up with the phoenix and the ashes and all that stuff. When these gates open, and he's looking like, what are these gates? The animation. And he turns around, and it's Top Gun or someone in aviators. Oh, it's Dijak, as Booker T says. Who?
Fuck's sake.
Dijak then grabs Wes and hits the Feast Your Eyes, the torture rack into the knee, and then stands tall. So Dijak making it clear he is back. He's not Dijakovic. He's just Dijak, wearing the leather jacket and some aviators here. I
wonder if they drop in the first name as well. I think he might.
I think so.
What I like is it's just a natural. Obviously, he went by Donovan Dijak on the Indies.
Yeah.
But I remember when Moro used to call his matches, he'd abbreviate Dijakovic to Dijak anyway. So it feels just like a natural progression. But Booker shouting who? Just come on. Like, this guy's been in the company for like years now.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Doing the Snoop Dogg
who
meme.
My favorite thing.
But no, happy. We obviously knew he was coming back. Wesley Dijak sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, I imagine that is at the deadline.
I would hope so.
Yeah, unfortunately, you would think that Dijak wins because it's his first match back.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool ending. I love Dijak. I think that's a better name for him. I'm making fun of him wearing aviators. Maybe that's not quite the best look.
Oh, I thought he looked good.
He looked cool. He looked cool once he took them off. I thought. I feel like it's kind of hokey that he's just classic wrestler, like leather jacket. Better than what he had before.
I thought he looked better than both his original
gears,
NXT gear
and
obviously better than the Retribution
Yeah,
stuff.
fair enough.
I'm for it.
I'm all for it. He's great.
I hope his promos aren't going to be all this stuff he's been doing in the vignettes about justice and shit.
Yeah, just be a wrestler. Just be a guy.
I'm for this feud. I think it'll be a solid match between these two.
But a solid episode of NXT. I mean, I know it's still NXT, but there was, like I always say, there's some good and some bad. Really love the main event. Definitely put me in a fantastic mood. Whenever you give me a match that I just can just mark out over, I'm a happy camper. Call me crazy. I like my wrestling.
I honestly, I'd start putting the way NXT has been recently. I think it's where it was pre 2.0. I'm not saying it's the glory days. It's not 2017, but I think it is that kind of like year, like USA year now. The quality.
Sure.
I think we're seeing good development from some of these PC recruits.
Yeah.
I like we're getting again like top quality matches. We get a little bit of goofiness, but it's not bombarded with goofiness.
Yeah.
But scripts, man, that was I thought it was a pretty solid episode, but man, that was such a whimper.
Yeah, that was really bad. I want Reggie. It's cool that Reggie's back down in NXT, but why are you an acrobatic poet?
Terrible.
So weird. So weird. Well, that's what we thought of NXT. We're going to go to our Facebook group, the upNXT group. Join it, if you please, and we'll read your Facebook comments here for the show. I see Fire Frank writing in here some thoughts. He says, Wes Mello was a fire main event. Welcome back, Dijak. And then in brackets, oh yeah. Inside joke for long-time listeners. Remember the cameo?
Yeah.
He said, Frank continues, I want to go fishing with Braun. Booker was on one tonight. Shout out Reggie the Wisp. On to other things, I had a ball Saturday in Newark. Shout out everyone who came out. Everyone was great, even WH Park. We had a great conversation. So nicely, finally meeting so many people for the first time, like WH, John, Wade, Jordan, Andrew, Benno, among others, as well as getting the picture with Jordan taken by Chris Leone. As all of us...
Yeah, Fire Frank signed Jordan's Metro card.
New York Metro Pass.
And in the picture, Jordan looks like like a child at Disney getting an.
He kind of always looks like a child. Frank continues and says, and to all of us in the extended post family just taking over a section at Full Gear, shout out my BSK brothers. Follow the frog. The champ is still here. Yes, he is.
He is.
He is. Undeniable.
We go to Sean McTeer, who says, decent show overall. The show got off to a slow start in the first hour. Toxic Attraction promo was the same old, same old. Cora Wendy was okay. Why do people continue to bump for Soda? Ivy and Kiana had some good bits, and Fallon looked really good as well. Scripts being a repackaged Reggie was a huge letdown, and I don't know what that Schism segment was for. The second hour was much stronger, with a better than expected showing from Sol Ruka, and a hell of a knee strike from Zoe. And great physicality from Nikita. I like the bit when they used a live event to set up Roxanne and Indy for next week. We also got a great impromptu tag title match which furthered the very entertaining Chase U story. And finally, we got an amazing main event where Wesley finally got to stand tall right before Dijak showed up to knock him back down. Looking forward to more from the women's division next week, as well as the announcement of the Iron Survivor participants.
Yes. And then Megan writes in, all I needed to see was the main event. Mello and Wes shut it down, and the return of Dijak was strong.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So next week, Shawn Michaels going to reveal who's in this Deadline Iron Survivor Challenge, both men and female, men and women's matches. Who do we see? Mello,
Von,
JD, Ilya, Tyler Bate, all the same people we've seen.
I mean,
Axiom.
They're saying Axiom's still out for a while. Like Axiom and Ilya, they could be selling that injury for a bit longer.
What's the other one? Nathan Frazier.
Yeah, you could have him.
Nathan Frazier, Carmelo Hayes, Von Wagner. I don't know, a few other people. In the women's side, I would put Wendy Chu,
Roxanne, Indy, and Ivy.
Nikita.
Yeah, probably.
Could be Nikita.
Although Nikita and Zoe might have a singles.
Oh, fair enough, yeah. They could both be in that match instead. But yeah, okay, cool. So, next week we got that. I feel like they announced some other matches next week. But
Indy versus Roxanne's next week.
Gotcha.
We've got the 6-woman tag with Nikita, Kaden, and Katana versus Toxic Attraction.
Nice. Okay, so it's coming into shape. And so is Deadline with some matches. So that was NXT. Thank you guys for listening to us talk all about it. You want to hear us talk about more? Well, we're going to do BD Elite on this very feed tomorrow night, Wednesday night, after Dynamite. We'll record live on Twitch and YouTube. Follow us, join us live. If not, the podcast will be on this feed. We're going to give all our thoughts on Full Gear in New York and give thoughts on tomorrow's Dynamite and everything else going on.
Yes.
Yeah. And you want to hear more, even more, patreon.com/upnext. For only $5, you get access to almost 500 different podcasts.
So many.
Movie reviews, best match ever, retro pay-per-view reviews, everything. Everything you ever needed is on there. So go check it out for only $5. We thank you so much and love all our listeners and anyone from this week and all that fun stuff. It was a complete joy. So thanks, guys. At upNXT Podcast on the Twitter. We will be having an Instagram, a new Twitter, and a TikTok all coming.
Hopefully it doesn't get pulled down.
Yeah, hopefully not. So, yes, look forward to the future with us, and upNXT isn't going anywhere, but follow the frog. The frog, Ribbit, get hit with that Poison Rana, coming very, very soon. And we could not do that with all of our listeners out there. So thank you guys for listening to us. We can't say thanks enough. I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And
I got it this week. It's coming home. Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything. BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.